girl was alone with the boy for the first time. She surprisingly found a mysterious item in his bag. A pink bra, and it even had lace edges. What the hell is going on? Just now, Linma, who learned about Enran's background, was angrily seeking revenge. Watching Linma wave his fists looked a bit ridiculous, and Enran couldn't help but laugh through her tears. She then told him the Safety Bureau has a vast influence. It's challenging to confront them directly. Moreover, Linma just offended people from Snow Phoenix. They should act low-key for now. At that moment, Enran's affection for Linma increased a bit. Linma said he understood. He's just growing in a weird way. He's about to enroll in Ares Academy. When he masters martial arts, it'll be the day of revenge, Linma confidently stated. Ares Academy? Enran excitedly patted Linma's shoulder. She mentioned she has a base nearby. It's an incredibly magnificent ancient tomb. Ancient tomb? Linma asked with confusion. Yes, I'll take you to see it when the time comes. By now, Linma had imagined the scene at the base. Bats flying everywhere and ghosts visible everywhere. Thinking about such a beautiful girl living in that kind of environment, Linma suddenly felt cold sweat. With this much courage, you still dare to talk about revenge? Enran laughed, looking at Linma's timid appearance. I'm not scared, I'm just amazed. How can your base be so strange? Linma quickly retorted. My black evil gang is growing. Ordinary bases can't satisfy our needs. Ancient tombs, abandoned warehouses, these spacious places are what we need. Impressive. Linma immediately gave a thumbs up. Actually, he knew Enran was boasting. After all, being chased by the Safety Bureau, she could only hide in such places. Looking at Enran's worn-out shoes and clothes, Linma realized she wasn't living well. You saved my life today, and I can't let you do it for free. I'll share half of the ghost beads I earned today with you. Linma quickly reached for the bag next to him. No need. I don't want your charity or sympathy. I just want the ghost beads I robbed. Enran repeatedly refused. Oh come on, consider it as if you robbed me, Linma said, taking out the bag of ghost beads. But during their back and forth, the bag in Linma's hand dropped to the ground with a snap. The bra he bought for big-breasted ghost also got exposed. Both of their gazes focused on that item. A pink bra, and it's lacy. Linma, what on earth goes on in your head all day? Enran's cheeks instantly turned bright red. She couldn't help but lean back a bit. Listen to my excuse. No, I mean, listen to my explanation. I'm not that kind of person. Linma immediately summoned big-breasted ghost to vouch for him. Though in the end, Enran finally said she believed him. The look she gave Linma was still a bit strange. Regardless of whether Enran wanted to accept, Linma took out half of the ghost beads and pushed them to her. After all, if it wasn't for Enran's assistance, he would likely have died in that alley tonight. Enran, unable to resist Linma's insistence, only accepted a portion of the ghost beads. However, she said that if Linma ever encountered trouble in the future, he could always seek help from her black evil gang. It's a deal. The two happily bumped fists. Soon, a heavy rain began to pour. Linma stood under a bridge, admiring the riverside view in the rain. Having just faced a life-threatening situation, he felt a bit relaxed. At that moment, Enran slowly walked to his side. It's pouring so hard now, you can't go back for a while. Why don't we do something fun? Looking at Enran's blushing cheeks, Linma was filled with questions. What does she want to play? Enran opened Glory of the Fallen. You play this too? Linma was a bit surprised. Yeah, I played all night yesterday and didn't get my first win. I must get it today, Enran said with determination. It's just a first win. Come on, let me carry you. Linma confidently took out his phone. The two immediately added each other as friends. Upon seeing Enran's in-game ID, Emotionless Joker, Linma suddenly thought, oh my god, why does this ID sound so familiar? It seems like the bandaged ghost I defeated last time. Suddenly, Linma felt a cold chill from his side. Enran was glaring at him with a murderous gaze. So you're the everlasting sharpshooter. Why did you keep targeting me last time? I'll strangle you. Enran suddenly jumped up from the sofa, her delicate and fair hands grabbing Linma. I'm sorry. I'll help you rank up, okay? Linma pleaded repeatedly. No way, take this. Linma's chest was repeatedly pummeled by Enran's small fists. At this moment, Linma felt both pain and pleasure. He immediately vowed to help Enran reach the gold rank tonight. Hearing that she could rank up so much, Enran was overjoyed and couldn't stop smiling. Meanwhile, inside the Safety Bureau, a roar erupted from the director's office. We sent out 20 agents, and not one has returned. Find out where they vanished. Director Gao Longshan slammed his hand hard on the desk. We have identified that they went missing near Min Mountain. They all disappeared on the same day. Deputy Director Sun Deli slowly reported, flipping through some documents. Min Mountain is vast. You don't even have an exact location. How are you even a deputy director? Gao Longshan angrily threw an ashtray in Sun Deli's direction. Crash! The ashtray grazed Sun Deli's ear and shattered against the wall. Sun Deli was visibly shaken, having never seen Director Gao this furious. He hurriedly apologized. The enemy was too cunning. The tracking devices on our agents malfunctioned. Even Team Captain Jongsen, a level 6 Ghost Master, suffered the same fate. It seemed they didn't even have a chance to send a distress signal. Sun Deli whispered with his head down. Not being able to send a distress signal implies that our men didn't even have a chance to fight back. A level 6 Ghost Master was defeated just like that. Gao Longshan muttered, looking gloomily at the map on the wall, his hand pointing at Min Mountain's location. location. It must be the remnants of the sealed demons. It has to be them, Gao Longshan declared with rage. Then, the doorbell rang. Deputy Director Sun, you have a phone call. A female assistant whispered as she entered. Get out. Can't you see we're in the middle of something important? Sun Deli snapped, clearly agitated. It's from your family. They said your son was severely injured by a high school student named Lin Ma. Moreover, his 2 contracted ghosts were killed. Gao Longshan and Sun Deli both gasped in shock. Sun Mao, with a triple contract limit, was defeated by a high school student. Unbelievable. If a contracted ghost dies, it still occupies one of the contract slots. Sun Mao will fall from a prodigy to a waste, Sun Deli remarked with a grave expression. You should go and attend to your son, Gao Longshan said, acknowledging the importance of Sun Mao to Sun Deli, and refrained from discussing the missing agents. After Sun Deli left, Gao Longshan picked up a photo of his daughter, Gao Shishir, from the table. My daughter is the best, ranked first in the entire province, he murmured. Meanwhile, on the other side, after Lin Ma successfully helped and Ran reach the gold rank, and Ran mentioned she needed to return to apply medicine to an injured man with a broken leg. So, the two temporarily parted ways. Watching the silhouette of a young girl bathed in moonlight in the sky, the corners of Lin Ma's mouth unconsciously curled up. Only when the girl's figure blended into the night did he snap back to reality. Today was probably the happiest day since he arrived in this world. Time flies by, and in the blink of an eye, it's the enrollment day at Aries Academy. Lin Ma and Black Little Fat agreed to take a long-distance bus together to Aries Academy. Upon boarding the bus, Black Little Fat was full of anticipation for Aries Academy. After all, it's touted as the biggest college in the province. This little guy has been so excited he couldn't sleep for several nights. He kept quiet, knowing that if Black Little Fat found out the school was surrounded by ancient graves, he would probably be so scared that he'd run back home to his mother. The bus set off from the city center, traveling from noon till evening. As the scenery outside the window grew increasingly desolate, Black Little Fat began to feel uneasy. Bro Lin Ma, why are there fewer and fewer houses outside, but more and more graves? Lin Ma quickly explained that Aries Academy is a top-notch institution. The graves are purposefully built to train students' courage. Only the best students will stick around till the end. Understanding dawned on Black Little Fat, and he praised Lin Ma for choosing the right school. After another hour of bumpy travel, the duo finally arrived at their destination. As soon as Lin Ma and Black Little Fat got off the bus, the driver immediately closed the doors and sped off. The two watched the bus disappear as if escaping for its life, and exchanged puzzled looks. A gust of cold wind blew, and a brown ghost money note landed squarely on Black Little Fat's forehead. Oh my god, what is this? Both of them were on the verge of breaking into cold sweats. Where the hell is the school? Are we sure we boarded a legitimate bus? Yes, this should be Aries Academy, Lin Ma confirmed, checking the location on his phone, assuring that they were at the east main gate of the college. Other than the scattered graves and occasional ghostly fires, there was nothing resembling a gate. Don't worry, if we follow the map's direction, we should find the dormitory building, Lin Ma tried to reassure. But there isn't even a road, Black Little Fat lamented, close to tears. The two, with their suitcases in tow, ventured forward and soon found themselves in the midst of a graveyard. During their journey, Black Little Fat's suitcase accidentally bumped into a protruding stone. A seemingly ordinary tombstone next to it started to move on its own. The mound soil began to tumble down, slowly revealing a pitch-black coffin. With a creaking noise, the coffin lid flung open, and a chill rushed up into the sky. A zombie dressed in Qing Dynasty official attire appeared, a wicked spirit-level green corpse ghost. Lin Ma started to feel uneasy, as this ghost was of a higher level than any of his contracted ghosts. Moreover, influenced by this spirit's presence, other mounds in the vicinity began to tremble. Using his blood-pupiled long-range vision, he quickly assessed the situation. There were at least 10 ghosts of the wild grave approaching. Bro Lin Ma, what do we do now? Black Little Fat, panicked, asked. What else can we do? Prepare for battle. Summon all our contracted ghosts and look for an opportunity to break through. Summoning the Trashcan ghost, Black Little Fat, in his haste, slapped his plump arm, and a 2-meter-tall gigantic Trashcan appeared before them. Its appearance was imposing, but its combat abilities were uncertain. The surrounding ghosts of the wild grave began to close in. Lin Ma, with his blood-pupiled vision, sensed the impending attack from the green corpse ghost. Suddenly, the green corpse ghost spit out a breath of dark air. Tear them apart, a hoarse voice echoed. Panicking, Black Little Fat quickly opened the lid of the Trashcan ghost and urged Lin Ma to hide inside with him. Just then, a ghostly hand suddenly emerged from the ground below Black Little Fat, tightly grabbing his ankle. Feeling the strong pull from below, Black Little Fat screamed in fear. In the blink of an eye, his entire body was being dragged under, leaving only his upper torso struggling above ground. The Trashcan ghost, with its wide eyes, was utterly helpless. It had a decent defense, but virtually no attack power. Lin Ma shook his head in frustration, quickly controlling the Chainsaw Ghost to come to the rescue. Chainsaw Ghost grabbed Black Little Fat's head, and with a fierce tug, pulled him out like yanking a radish from the soil. Gazing at Black Little Fat's delicate appearance, Chainsaw Ghost salivated with hunger. Its foul breath, reeking from its gaping mouth, scared Black Little Fat half to death. Lin Ma had to concentrate fully to control control the chainsaw ghost, preventing it from taking a bite out of Black Little Fat. But at that very moment, the soil under Black Little Fat's feet began to churn, and two ghosts of the wild grave once again grabbed his legs. "You dare to snatch my meat?" In his rage, Chainsaw Ghost drove his saw into one ghost of the wild grave's neck, followed by a horizontal swipe that separated its head from its body. Two brown ghost beads fell to the ground. Seeing his longtime companion killed, the green corpse ghost was furious. A potent ghostly aura emanated from him. "We're screwed now. I'll kill you." The green corpse ghost, as if equipped with springs, leaped 5 meters into the air, stretching out its massive ghostly claws towards Lin Ma. Meanwhile, the other ghosts of the wild grave swiftly moved underground, emerging right under Lin Ma and Black Little Fat. Lin Ma felt a surge of dread. He hurriedly commanded the big-breasted ghost to activate the Sanskrit sound claims life ability. As the resonating sound of a zither echoed, the ghost of the wild grave and green corpse ghost both froze in their tracks. At this moment, the green corpse ghost was mere centimeters away from Lin Ma. He could distinctly smell the rot emanating from it. The green corpse ghost let out a mournful wail, its eyes, filled with black blood veins, fixed intently on Lin Ma. "What are you looking at? Is there something on my face?" "Chainsaw Ghost, kill him for me." Lin Ma immediately issued the attack command. Chainsaw Ghost, brandishing his chainsaw, rushed forward. He kicked the immobilized green corpse ghost to the ground and drove the saw straight for its neck. With the roaring sound of the chainsaw, sparks flew from the green corpse ghost, but its neck remained unscathed, save for a few brown marks. Not even the skin was broken. What kind of steel defense is this? Is he entirely encased in a turtle shell? Lin Ma, shocked, quickly retreated. "Bro, Lin Ma, come in quickly." Black Little Fat beckoned Lin Ma to hide inside the trash can ghost. Without hesitation, Lin Ma climbed in. Inside, the ghost's stomach was filled with rubbish, emitting a potent strange odor. But they couldn't be picky now. The two hurriedly discussed how to handle the current crisis. Currently, he had 3 contracted ghosts, and he needed 2,000 points to increase the limit. Sadly, he didn't have enough points. Otherwise, he could try to forcibly contract the green corpse ghost. Damn it, he's breaking free from the Sanskrit sound claims life control. They saw the green corpse ghost grab the chainsaw. Sparks flew everywhere. The immense power stalled the chainsaw's rapid rotation. While Chainsaw Ghost and green corpse ghost wrestled, the ghosts of the wild grave underground broke free from the control, emerging one after another, rushing towards the trash can ghost like ferocious dogs. After repeated scratching and biting, the trash can ghost's exterior began to crack, and soon, holes appeared. Suddenly, a ghostly hand shot inside. "Black Little Fat, is your trash can some knockoff? Damn it, what kind of ghost school is this? I want to go home." Black Little Fat, seeing the trash can ghost's health reduced to only a fifth, was so terrified tears streamed down his face. How did it come to this? Facing such a pig-like teammate, it seems I have to go out and carry the team myself. Just as Lin Ma was preparing to make a last stand, one ghost of the wild grave unexpectedly lifted the trash can lid, roaring continuously at the two inside. But in the next second, its head flew off. "What's happening? Have we been rescued?" Then, a sharp screech echoed from above. A vampire swooped down. Its sharp claws swiftly decapitated many of the ghosts of the wild grave. Instantly, sounds similar to popping balloons filled the air. The ghosts of the wild grave were annihilated. Seeing all his faithful subordinates killed, the green corpse ghost immediately let go of the struggling chainsaw ghost and charged towards the vampire with a roar. "Headless Ghost, it's your turn." A melodic female voice resonated. A headless ghost, holding a massive hammer, jumped up. The green corpse ghost sensed an intense danger approaching from behind and stood frozen in terror. A bolt of black lightning struck from the sky. The energy hammer, packed with unparalleled force, heavily slammed into the green corpse ghost. A vast energy explosion spread all around, and when the dust settled, the green corpse ghost was hammered deep into the ground. "Young ones, welcome to Ares Academy." A voice as melodious as a songbird rang out. A tall and beautiful girl in a pleated skirt stood in front of the trash can, her impressive legs clearly outlined in the night. Behind her stood 2 contracted ghosts, their strong vibrations showcasing their power. "Hello, Senior. I'm Lin Ma. Your help came just in the nick of time." Lin Ma, full of excitement, hurriedly opened the trash can lid and climbed out. "Hello, Junior. My name is Muwanqing. I was assigned to assist you. Are the chainsaw ghost and big-breasted ghost yours?" "Yes, they are. They're just small malevolent spirits." Touching the mark on his arm and recalling the 2 ghosts, "You're already very impressive. Being able to hold off the green corpse ghost and the numerous ghosts of the wild grave for so long. You're the most talented freshman I've ever seen." Hearing the senior's praise, Lin Ma shyly scratched his head. "Bro, Lin Ma, what's the situation now?" Black Little Fat peeked out from the trash can and asked. "The academy has sent a senior to assist us. We're safe now. Come on out." "Is the treatment always this good? To have a senior personally come to greet us?" Seeing the beautiful girl, Black Little Fat seemed to forget all his fear and became overly excited. "Hello, Senior. My name is Wang Kai." Black Little Fat, eagerly and without delay, went to shake the delicate hand of the senior. "Stay away. Don't get your snotty hands all over the senior's clothes." "It's fine. It's fine. Were you both terribly frightened earlier?" Mu Wanqing said, showing a warm smile. "Not at all. These low-level ghosts of the wild grave couldn't even make a dent in my robust robust nerves. You can ask Lean Ma if you don't believe me. Black Little Fat instantly put on airs. Oh really? Who was crying for their mom a moment ago? Now that you've seen a beautiful senior, the tears are gone? Dude, give me some face. Black Little Fat hurriedly tried to hush Lean Ma. He. Mu Wanqing couldn't help but laugh at Black Little Fat's antics. Her laughter was like ringing silver bells. We should hurry to the academy to register. You'll also need to get settled in. There's a lot to do. Mu Wanqing then released her hold on the green corpse ghost and recalled the headless ghost and vampire as two lights, one yellow and one red, merged into her. Seeing this, the green corpse ghost quickly climbed out from the ground and ran away without looking back. Why did you let him go? Lean Ma curiously asked. These wild graves are filled with all sorts of strange ghosts. Aren't they the perfect training ground? If I had exterminated them, what would our academy students practice on? Is that how it's done? Other training grounds consist of specially crafted formations and captured ghosts, ensuring student safety. Ares uses the wild graves as training grounds, full of unknown dangers. A slight misstep and one could be killed. They seem to not care about the students' well-being. Isn't the academy being a bit too bold? Don't worry, the ghosts in the wild graves aren't that powerful. Didn't you see me easily defeat them? Mu Wanqing quickly reassured, stumbling upon a wicked spirit-level green corpse ghost just a few steps in. And you're saying they aren't powerful? Lean Ma and Black Little Fat's mouths twitched involuntarily. Looking at the scattered ghost beads on the ground, Lean Ma tentatively asked if the academy would reclaim them. Of course not. The academy doesn't need such trivial amounts. Consider these as your welcoming gifts, Mu Wanqing said, smilingly stretching out both hands. Wow, thank you senior. Although these ghost beads are basic, this large amount is worth at least 100,000. We're rich. Ares Academy is like a treasure trove. Lean Ma and Black Little Fat happily split the ghost beads between themselves, and then followed Mu Wanqing towards the academy. Along the way, the senior kept introducing the school's advantages to them. As the path became more and more rugged, Black Little Fat couldn't help but complain. The school's location is just too remote. It'll be such a hassle if we want to go out and hit an internet cafe. How can it be considered remote? Although it's in the outskirts of coastal city, you just have to cross a wild grave, climb over a mountain, and then take a ferry to reach the bustling Lingling city. Plus, every night at the school you can see the luminous ghost fires from the graves, just as beautiful and dazzling as the stars in the sky. The view is simply breathtaking. At this point, both Lean Ma and Black Little Fat twitched their mouths. What's so beautiful about watching ghost fires every night? It's good enough if we don't get scared to death. After another half hour of walking the mountain path, the group finally arrived at Ares Academy's main campus. What met their eyes were rows of old buildings, shrouded in the night, looking much like haunted houses. At that moment, Lean Ma thought of a beautiful figure in his heart, feeling more motivated than ever. The challenging environment of Ares Academy could rapidly enhance his own strength, so he could avenge and ran sooner. Upon entering the school, Lean Ma encountered other students who had come to register. Most of them had various injuries, presumably from battling ghosts in the wild grave area. When the male students saw the beautiful figure of Mu Wanqing, their eyes widened in astonishment. Goodness gracious, I never expected such a beauty here. The gloom from being chased by ghosts was instantly lifted, but when they saw Mu Wanqing smiling and explaining the school to Lean Ma, the crowd instantly became displeased. Why does he get the beautiful senior and we get the rugged male senior? This is unfair. Unfair, you say? With that lazy attitude, a senior nearby slapped the back of a freshman's head. He scored 90 in the A-level ghost domain during his college entrance exam, making him an honor student. The principal personally gave him special attention. With your D-level ghost domain score of 60, you're lucky. I even came to get you. Hearing that Lean Ma was a genius who passed the A-level ghost domain exam, the girls nearby cast admiring glances his way. On the side, Mu Wanqing efficiently completed the enrollment procedures for Lean Ma and his friend, and then handed the key to dormitory 433 to Lean Ma. Remember to use sunscreen during military training tomorrow. Lean Ma smiled and nodded. Oh, there's one more thing you must remember. At night, always keep your dormitory door locked, because there might be night wandering ghosts roaming around the campus. If they enter your dorm, it won't be fun. Lean Ma nodded quickly, indicating that he would heed her advice. Watching Mu Wanqing's retreating figure, Black Little Fat's face was filled with admiration. The senior is really beautiful. It would be nice if she could be my girlfriend. Trust me, bro, you can't handle someone like her. A tank girl is more your speed. Lean Ma chuckled. Images of the robust tank girl from the class next door filled Black Little Fat's mind, making him immediately frustrated. You really want me to have sleepless nights, don't you? The two dragged their suitcases towards the dormitory. The entire dorm building was pitch black. Everywhere was filled with a creepy aura. Arriving at the door of dormitory 433, before entering, they heard strange noises coming from inside. A rhythmic shush 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 sound, about once a second. Black Little Fat immediately shouted, "There's a ghost inside. Look at you, so scared. We're here to learn about catching ghosts." Lean Ma sighed and pushed the door open. The scene inside made him freeze. There was a buzz-cut young man sitting in the room, sharpening a long, sharp knife. A scar on his face was especially prominent in the darkness. His eyes gleamed like those of a fierce wolf. The moment he looked up, an intimidating aura rushed towards them. Holy crap, this dude's scarier than a ghost. Black Little Fat jumped behind Lean Ma. Dude, you're sharpening your knife in the dark? You scared us. Lean Ma then turned on the room lights. I don't need the lights on to sharpen my knife, the buzz-cut man coldly replied, with an undertone of warning to strangers in his voice. Can't argue with that. Lean Ma nodded in agreement, then motioned for Black Little Fat to come in. The two quickly set up their beds. After all, it had been a long day, and Lean Ma wanted to lie down and rest. After making the bed, he looked at the buzz-cut young man, who was still focused on sharpening his knife, and initiated a conversation. My name's Lean Ma. For the next few years, we'll be living under the same roof. Please take care of us. My name's Achio. The young man with the buzz cut paused briefly, and then went silent again. What a weirdo. Either he's socially awkward, or he's mentally ill. His knife isn't ordinary. I have a bad feeling about it. The voice of blood-pupiled ghost sounded slightly shaky. Upon hearing this, Lean Ma's curiosity piqued, so he asked Achio, what's that knife for? It looks quite unique. Achio stopped his movements once again. A complicated look flashed in his eyes. It's a razor. He held up the long knife, admiring it as if it were a precious artifact. Isn't a razor just a tool used by barbers? Why would you be afraid of it? Lean Ma whispered to blood-pupiled ghost, puzzled. You naive kid. What do you know? Just by the quality of the blade, it's an antique, probably used by the Manchus during the Qing dynasty to shave heads and keep cues. Over time, it has absorbed the yang energy of men, making it a weapon against ghosts. So, by that logic, this guy must know his stuff. We shouldn't underestimate him. Lean Ma stroked his chin, suddenly more interested in Achio. Bro, what's your contracted ghost? Care to share? And why did you come to this rundown Aries Academy? Your razor seems pretty badass. Maybe we can spar sometime, like a machine gun. Lean Ma fired off 3 questions in quick succession. Achio looked a bit startled. He hadn't expected Lean Ma to be so forward upon their first meeting. My contracted ghost is the Shadow Ghost. I came to Aries Academy because the tuition is cheap. As for sparring, I only fight ghosts. At this point, Lean Ma was convinced that Achio was an expert. After all, contracted ghosts were also ranked by rarity. Common ones like the corpse-eating ghost and starvation ghost had well-known abilities and were easy to counter, but the Shadow Ghost, like his own blood-pupiled ghost, was an S-tier rare ghost that wasn't so easily contracted. Seeing Achio's sincere response, Lean Ma felt that he was a good person. His previous silence was probably due to his introverted nature. Lean Ma soon got out of bed and began chatting with Achio. Through their conversation, Lean Ma learned about Achio's background. Achio was born into a family of barbers. Each member of the family, upon reaching adulthood, was required to contract with a Shadow Ghost. Only those who successfully contracted with a Shadow Ghost were eligible to use the ancestral razors. However, nowadays, youngsters prefer going to modern barbers like Tony, so the traditional barber family had to settle for shaving the elderly in remote areas for a meager income. Principal Jai Feng had given Achio a 50% discount on tuition, which was the main reason he chose Aries Academy. Achio then asked Lean Ma why he also came to Aries Academy, given that its facilities weren't great. Lean Ma explained that the principal promised him a full tuition waiver. His parents struggled working in the fields, and in order to save money, he accepted the offer. Hearing that Lean Ma had a full scholarship, Achio felt envious and offered his barber services for $5, a bargain. Understanding Achio's situation, Lean Ma cheerfully accepted. Black Little Fat noticed there was still an empty bed in the dorm. Lean Ma joked that the missing student might have gotten into a fight with ghosts in the graveyard area and ended up becoming their late-night snack. Yawning, Lean Ma prepared to sleep. After a tiring day, the 3 of them quickly drifted into dreams. In the deep of night, a cold wind whistled through the hallway. The occupants of room 433 were sleeping soundly when the previously closed door creaked open. Lean Ma suddenly felt a slight tremble in his bed. In his half-asleep state, he mumbled to Black Little Fat not to overexert himself, especially since they had military training the next day. However, as the minutes passed, the shaking grew more intense. Lean Ma, suspecting something was wrong, looked towards Black Little Fat's bed. Panicking, he saw Black Little Fat, eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling. His hands were tightly wrapped around his own throat, unable to speak and continuously kicking his bed, signaling for help. Wrapped around his arm were 2 eerie, red threads, which only added to the mystery and terror of the situation. Meanwhile, Achio had awakened without Lean Ma noticing. His razor flashed before Lean Ma's eyes, and with a swift movement, the sharp blade darted towards the door. The 2 red threads coming into the room were severed instantly. Immediately, Black Little Fat released his own throat, sat up on the bed, and began to cough violently. I was kicking the bed so hard, and you didn't even notice. What were you thinking? I nearly choked myself to death. Black Little Fat gasped for breath, hand over his neck. I'm so sorry, Lean Ma replied with a chuckle. I thought you were having a dream or something. What kind of dream do you think I was having? Just when I thought you were an innocent guy, it turns out your mind is filled with weird stuff. I was sleeping, and suddenly, I felt like I was running out of breath. I looked down and found my hands choking myself without any control. What the hell was that? It was probably a puppet ghost. Lean Ma, glancing at the residual threads on Black Little Fat's arm, speculated coldly. Do you think so too? Achio pulled the razor out of the door. The hallway should only have night-wandering ghosts. ghosts. There shouldn't be any puppet ghosts here. It's simple, Lin Ma replied. Whoever is behind this has a contracted ghost. Someone's deliberately stirring up trouble. We just arrived and haven't offended anyone, yet someone tried to kill us. We can't just let this go. Let's go out and see what's going on. Lin Ma stretched his neck, scanned the surroundings cautiously, and quietly exited the room, followed silently by Achio. Hey, wait, how can you guys leave me alone here? Black Little Fat was a bit panicked. Looking outside, the dark corridor made him hesitate. Up on the rooftop, 3 senior-year bullies and 2 scantily clad girls were chatting. Brother Luan Chang, do you think the freshman will collapse and die from fear? One of the girls giggled. Even if he doesn't die, he'll probably be traumatized. Remember the guy last year who went mad from our prank and eventually jumped into the river? He deserved to die. Those 2 nobodies from room 433 dared to have my goddess pick them up and even breathe freely in front of her. Today, they'll taste what it's like to be choked to death by their own hands, Luan Chang said, taking a deep drag from his cigarette. His demeanor constantly gave off an arrogant vibe. Suddenly, Luan Chang's expression changed. The threads controlled by the puppet ghost in his hand had been cut off. How dare they cut my threads? Those 2 brats have a death wish. He motioned for his gang to follow him downstairs, shouting about teaching Lin Ma and Achio a lesson. No need to trouble yourselves, Lin Ma called out. He and Achio appeared from the stairwell, with Lin Ma leading the way. Senior, instead of sleeping at this hour, you want to challenge us to a real-life fight? Perfect. I've been itching for some action. Let's spar. Achio, standing by Lin Ma's side, didn't utter a word. He simply tightened his grip on his blade. The bullies were taken aback. No one had ever spoken to them like this before. Freshmen, in their eyes, were just noobs without any real skills. But these 2 newcomers were so audacious. They truly don't know their place. Kill them, Luan Chang ordered. The 2 goons beside him immediately summoned their contracted ghosts. One was a corpse-eating ghost and the other a one-armed crippled ghost possessing a human body. Lin Ma hesitated for a second, then burst into laughter. Is this all senior students have to show? Seriously, you dare look down on us? Who gave you this fake confidence? You're just 2 noobs who haven't even activated your skills. Kneel and beg, or you won't live to see tomorrow's sun. One of the bullies shouted. Not see tomorrow's sun? What's going to happen? Is it going to rain? Lin Ma taunted. This sent Luan Chang and his crew into a fury. They were grinding their teeth in anger, all contributing to Lin Ma's emotional collapse point count. Even the typically emotionless Achio couldn't help but smirk upon hearing this. Enough talk. Kill them. Luan Chang, already on the verge of losing his temper, barked out the command. The corpse-eating ghost and the thug with the enhanced right arm charged straight at Lin Ma and Achio. Achio said coldly, 1 for each of us. After we're done, let's deal with that puppet ghost. No problem, Lin Ma murmured. Just as he finished speaking, with a swoosh, Achio vanished from his spot. A second later, he reappeared above the corpse-eating ghost, brandishing a razor-sharp blade. With a swift motion, the corpse-eating ghost was beheaded. Holy crap, Achio, did you use a flash step or something? Lin Ma was left gaping in shock. The bully controlling the corpse-eating ghost couldn't believe his eyes. His contracted ghost had been destroyed in an instant. He spat out a mouthful of old blood. The backlash from a contracted ghost's death was no joke. Meanwhile, 2 girls watching from the sidelines were dumbfounded. In their eyes, Achio had taken out the corpse-eating ghost with just his skills, without even summoning his contracted ghost. Was this the strength of a freshman? On the other side, another thug, powered by the one-armed crippled ghost, was closing in on Lin Ma. His right arm had grown massive. With a powerful leap, he swung his enhanced right arm, aiming it straight at Lin Ma. However, Lin Ma remained unfazed. His right eye, possessing the blood-pupiled power, shot open. An overwhelming ghostly force surged out. Blood prison illusion, activate. The jumping thug froze in midair, dropping like a kite whose string had been cut. He landed on the ground, convulsing uncontrollably. If people thought Achio's swift beheading of the ghost was impressive, they were utterly taken aback now. Lin Ma had killed using just his gaze. Is he the young master of some hidden powerful family? Luan Chang's hands trembled uncontrollably. He was genuinely scared. The duo in front of him were not only powerful, but also ruthless. Yet, trying to maintain a semblance of control, he angrily asked Lin Ma if he was aware of the consequences of offending him. What consequences? Lin Ma replied, seemingly lost in thought. He then turned to Achio. Do you know? Achio just shook his head blankly. I see. Well, let's finish this fight first then, Lin Ma said, rolling up his sleeves and walking towards Luan Chang with determination. Luan Chang, you have to protect us from these maniacs. 2 terrified girls pleaded, rushing to hug Luan Chang's legs. Don't worry, I've got everything under control, Luan Chang said, placing his hands on the shoulders of the 2 girls. A sinister grin spread across his face. The puppet ghost beside him started trembling violently, and countless threads shot out from its chest. Before the 2 girls could react, these threads pierced into their limbs, weaving through their flesh. They were now under Luan Chang's control, like marionettes on strings. Please, don't hurt us. We can't control our bodies. It's all Luan Chang's doing. The girls quickly realized their situation and begged Lin Ma and Achio for mercy. Is he using these girls as shields, trying to buy himself time to escape? Lin Ma thought. You wanted to kill, but now you want to run? There's no way out. Just as Lin Ma was about to summon his contracted ghost, one of the girls, controlled by the puppet ghost, ghost, delivered a powerful kick towards him. Lin Ma quickly dodged, but it was evident the girl had some martial arts training. Her long legs continuously attacked him. Even though she moved gracefully, she had Lin Ma on the defensive. These girls are getting in the way. We need to end this quickly. Let's take one each. Understanding his intent, Lin Ma nodded. He slid his left arm fiercely, summoning the chainsaw ghost, leaving the girls petrified. With their bodies under Puppet Ghost's control, they couldn't avoid the incoming threat. They could only watch as the massive chainsaw headed their way. 3 seconds later, the intense pain they anticipated didn't come. Opening their eyes, they found themselves unharmed. Achio and Lin Ma had merely cut the puppet threads controlling them without harming them in any way. After all, both of them were good-hearted young men of the 21st century, and they would never hurt the innocent. Facing the terror of death caused the two girls to emotionally collapse, granting Lin Ma an unexpected 500 points. This unexpected gain brought immense joy to Lin Ma's heart. Although he didn't harm the two girls, he wouldn't let Wan Chang go. After all, Wan Chang had murderous intentions towards Black Little Fat and himself. At this moment, Wan Chang could sense Lin Ma's strong intent to kill, which gave him goosebumps. He thought to himself, what terrible sins did I commit in my past life to cross paths with these two? In desperation, Wan Chang wrapped himself with threads from Puppet Ghost and, without looking back, jumped off the rooftop. Puppet Ghost also wanted to flee, but Wan Chang ordered it to cover his escape. Reluctantly, Puppet Ghost tugged at the threads, aiding Wan Chang's escape. Don't let him get away. Lin Ma hurriedly moved to intercept. However, in terms of speed, Achio was faster. With a dash, he reached the edge of the rooftop and with a swift slash, he cut the threads connecting Wan Chang. By this time, Wan Chang had only fallen to the 3rd floor. Without the support of the threads, he plummeted straight down, crashing with a loud snap, severely deforming both of his legs. Help! They're trying to kill me, he screamed, momentarily forgetting the pain in his legs and crawling desperately towards the security guard's office. Seeing the drowsy security guard emerge, Lin Ma and Achio halted their pursuit. Attacking Wan Chang in front of the guard would no longer be seen as self-defense. Though Wan Chang had escaped, Puppet Ghost was still on the rooftop. Lin Ma signaled to Chainsaw Ghost, who eagerly rushed forward and cleaved Puppet Ghost in two with its chainsaw. Downstairs, Wan Chang let out another agonized scream. The backlash from the death of his contracted ghost was excruciating. After convulsing for a few moments, he passed out. On another rooftop, Lin Ma and Achio were happily dividing their spoils of war. The one-armed crippled ghost bead and corpse-eating ghost bead belonged to Achio, while the puppet ghost bead was Lin Ma's. Chainsaw Ghost, who was nearby, drooled at the sight of a large severed arm. With a nod from Lin Ma, Chainsaw Ghost immediately understood and eagerly began to chew on it. After a series of pig-like munching sounds, the system notified Lin Ma that Chainsaw Ghost's loyalty had increased by 20%. This delighted Lin Ma, as it meant he wouldn't have to worry about Chainsaw Ghost going berserk again. He then checked his emotional collapse points and realized he had accumulated up to 2,000. He promptly increased his contract limit, which allowed him to bind with another ghost. After cleaning up the mess on the balcony, the duo returned to dorm 433. Upon entering, they saw a massive trash can. Achio, looking puzzled, asked Lin Ma if he had bought this trash can, commenting on its large size. Lin Ma explained that this was Black Little Fat's contracted ghost. He quickly lifted the lid and found Black Little Fat soundly sleeping inside. Achio was still in shock, wondering if a trash can could indeed be a contracted ghost and if its mode of attack was to suffocate its enemies inside. The next morning, Lin Ma was awakened by his alarm clock. Stretching lazily in his bed, he noticed Achio was already up, sitting cross-legged on his bed, deep in meditation. Wisps of ghostly aura emanated from his ghost beads, and with each inhale and exhale, Achio absorbed them. This dedication was something Lin Ma admired, but couldn't match. If it weren't for the mandatory school military training requiring him to wake up early, Lin Ma would have easily slept for another 2 hours. However, as long as he had enough emotional collapse points, his power would soar rapidly, much like riding a rocket. Observing the dense, ink-like aura surrounding Achio, Lin Ma grew curious. If Achio was so powerful with just his physical strength, how formidable would Shadow Ghost's combat capabilities be? After waiting for Achio to finish his meditation, Lin Ma quickly woke up Black Little Fat from the trash can. The three of them headed to the school's training ground for their mandatory military training. Standing in the military posture for the entire morning was exhausting. Lin Ma managed it well. Black Little Fat was completely drained, feeling as if he would ascend to heaven at any second. Lin Ma, did you bring any water? A weak Black Little Fat, sitting on the ground, inquired. Lin Ma was about to reply that he hadn't, but quickly changed his mind. Water? I brought some. What? You have water? Share some. We'll even pay for it. Several freshmen quickly surrounded Lin Ma with hopeful expressions. I did bring some, but I've already finished it, Lin Ma said. As he saw their angry expressions, the system's delightful notification sound indicated that he had gained emotional collapse points. None of you brought water? A freshman named Cicinus, with shiny hair, approached. So, you have some? One of them asked impatiently. I don't have any right now, but my girlfriend will bring some for me soon, Cicinus replied. Ares Academy was famously known as a singles academy since not many girls were willing to come to a place filled with graveyards. Hence, when the group heard that Susinus had a girlfriend, they looked at him with envy. Susinus, with his hands in his pockets, began mocking the others for being single. Linma, however, appeared nonchalant, leaning against a tree and humming a tune, utterly relaxed. Susinus, irritated by Linma's indifference, taunted, "So what if you're the top student in the whole school? You're still a lonely single dog without a girlfriend." "Susinus dear, are you thirsty? I brought you some water." A plain-looking girl holding a bottle of mineral water ran over at that moment. "My darling, will you feed me?" Seizing the moment, Susinus began to show off. Everyone looked on with a mix of envy and resentment. What use is being the top student? In this scorching heat, you can't even get a sip of water. He then wrapped his arm around his girlfriend's waist and took large gulps of water right in front of Lin Ma. Just then, Mu Wanqing appeared on the field with a bottle of chilled sweet water in hand. As the current #1 goddess of Aries Academy, her arrival caused quite a stir. Everyone began speculating about which lucky freshman had managed to win over the stunning senior on the very first day. After scanning the field for a moment, Mu Wanqing finally spotted Lin Ma under a large tree. She waved at him and strode over. Lin Ma looked surprised. "Senior, are you looking for me?" "Lin Jr., this is for you." Mu Wanqing gave him a sweet smile, handing over the chilled sweet water. "For me? Why?" Lin Ma was taken aback. He knew he wasn't familiar enough with Mu Wanqing for her to go out of her way to bring him a drink. "This is a reward for you. After all, you eliminated a threat to Aries Academy yesterday," Mu Wanqing whispered in Lin Ma's ear, ensuring only the two of them could hear. She then placed a finger to her lips, signaling him to keep it a secret. Lin Ma immediately realized she was referring to the incident where he defeated Luan Chang the previous day. Unbeknownst to Lin Ma and Mu Wanqing, their close interaction in front of everyone had set the entire freshman training camp abuzz. On the very first day of school, Lin Ma had seemingly won over the famously aloof goddess of the academy. How were the other male students supposed to feel? Suddenly, a torrent of system notifications flooded Lin Ma's mind. Every one of the 300 freshmen was providing him with emotional collapse points. In a blink of an eye, it increased by over 1,000 points. "My goodness, I'm rich." Lin Ma, watching the soaring point value, was overjoyed. While everyone's gaze was fixed on Lin Ma and Mu Wanqing, a stunning girl appeared from the other side of the field. Under her willow-like eyebrows were a pair of crystal-clear eyes. She held a cup of lemon tea, looking around as if searching for someone. The attention of the new students oscillated between Mu Wanqing and the new girl. Was she also here to offer a drink? "Thirsty, handsome? I have some super refreshing lemon water here." The girl, arriving behind Lin Ma, gently tapped his shoulder and ran. "What are you doing here?" Lin Ma looked at the girl he had longed for, his elation evident. "Damn, not again. Why is it always that kid?" The crowd was shocked. First, the goddess Mu Wanqing brought chilled sweet water, and now a top-tier girl presents refreshing lemon tea. Susinus, standing nearby, was so frustrated that his long hair seemed to have turned short. Just moments ago, he was mocking Lin Ma for being a loner, but now, Lin Ma was flanked by a mature beauty on one side and a cute lowly on the other. At Lin Ma's side, when the two girls locked eyes, sparks seemed to fly. "My dear junior brother, who is this pretty little girl?" Mu Wanqing inquired. "No introductions needed," and Rant's eyes flashed with a hint of melancholy as she turned to leave. "I thought you'd be thirsty from training in this heat, so I brought you some lemon tea, but it seems you're already quite satisfied." Angrily, she threw her cup away. "Why is she mad? What did I do?" A confused Lin Ma mumbled, looking lost. Seeing Lin Ma's clueless expression, Mu Wanqing quickly nudged him. "Your girlfriend is upset. Go after her and make amends. Explain yourself." Seeming to understand, Lin Ma nodded, bending down to pick up the discarded lemon tea, and ran. "Wait for me." Holding up the cup, he chased after her. Once beside her, he opened the bottle and took a big gulp of the lemon tea. The chill was so intense that it felt like it swept away the summer heat. "Thank you," and ran. "This is incredibly refreshing. So cold it's making my teeth hurt." "You think it's too cold? Well, freeze then." And Ran stomped her foot in frustration and started walking away from the school. "What did I do now?" A sweating and anxious Lin Ma muttered, turning to Mu Wanqing with a blank expression, hoping for some answers. "You foolish boy, keep chasing her." Mu Wanqing rubbed her forehead in exasperation. How can such a smart-looking junior have such low emotional intelligence? At this moment, Rant's emotions were extremely complex. She had grown up in an extremely dangerous and love-deprived environment. When she saw Lin Ma with Mu Wanqing, her sense of security took a hit. Just as the last ember of hope in her heart was about to go out, a warm hand grabbed her wrist. "And Ran, I have something to tell you," Lin Ma said earnestly. Seeing his sincerity, Rant's heart raced like a deer's. "What more do you have to say?" Although she was pouting, Ran was filled with anticipation. "Did you make this lemon tea yourself?" Lin Ma blurted out unexpectedly, leaving Ran at a loss for words. "You already have water given by another girl. Why drink this?" "Throw it away," she retorted. "It'd be such a waste to throw away this great lemon tea," Lin Ma countered, chugging the remainder in one go. "How is this colder than the one from the fridge? Do you have more? I'd love another bottle." "You wish." Seeing Lin Ma's carefree attitude, Ran was at a loss for words. "I painstakingly collected this spring water drop by drop from an ancient tomb and then made this lemon tea. How could you have so much?" "Ancient tomb?" No wonder the the lemon tea is so cold. It must be due to the concentrated yin energy. Thank you so much. I'm touched that you went through so much trouble to make a cooling drink for me during our rigorous training. I also poison it. You'll soon be dead. And Ran huffed. Linma paused, then chuckled. If it's made by you, I'd drink it even if it's poisoned. Do you have more? Can I have another glass? Hearing this, a smile crept onto Ran's face. However, remembering that Linma had accepted water from someone else, she got angry again. Didn't someone else give you cola? Drink that. My dear lady, I've only had your lemon tea during the entire half day of training. I haven't touched anything else, Linma said, blinking at her with an innocent look. You're lucky you know better, but I had originally planned to take you to my ancient tomb base. Seeing how busy you are, maybe we should forget about it. Don't cancel it. Ancient tombs are rare places where ghosts appear, Linma exclaimed. He had just exchanged points for a higher contract limit and was eager to catch one. He had been fretting about not having a place to go. If you really want to go, meet me at the abandoned grave on the east side of the school at 10 p.m. And Ran happily took the cup from Linma and walked away with light steps. It seems she has been appeased. Watching Ran's beautiful silhouette, Linma smirked. I thought I was bad with social cues, but you, young man, are even worse, blood-pupiled Ghost remarked casually, and big-breasted Ghost nodded in agreement, claiming Linma was definitely in the advanced stages of being a clueless straight guy. Are you preparing meat for me? Chainsaw Ghost mumbled dejectedly. These harsh words made Linma almost spit blood. He couldn't believe he was being mocked by ghosts for being socially inept. In the end, I managed to appease her, which proves I'm capable, right? When Linma returned to the training ground, many of his male peers glared at him with resentment. After all, for most, it was hard enough to talk to a girl, yet he seemed to have them wrapped around his fingers. Feeling his emotional collapse point rising, Linma was elated. I should invite Ran to school more often, he thought. Night soon fell. Nightmare Ghost led Linma and Ran towards the entrance of the ancient tomb. From above, the abandoned graveyard was filled with a ghostly aura, making the sight quite terrifying. If this scares you, then you're worse off than a girl like me. I crossed through a horde of ghosts alone when I was 10, and Ran boasted. You faced a ghost horde at 10? Were you that powerful then? Linma inquired. Back then, I had a life-granted ghost protecting me. Other ghosts didn't dare approach, and Ran explained. Linma became silent, thinking about how Gao Longshan forcibly took Ran's ghost doll. What kind of hellish childhood did she endure? After about 10 minutes of flying, Nightmare Ghost landed in front of a massive grave mound. Bats and corpse moths occasionally shot out of the gaps in the mound, making the scene eerily unsettling. We can enter through this Tomb Raider's hole. My secret base is just ahead, and Ran excitedly told Linma. The entrance looked like it was made by professional Tomb Raiders, leading into the depths of the burial ground. Within half a minute, the two successfully passed through the robber's tunnel and arrived at the burial chamber, and Ran had already installed several miners' lamps, providing ample lighting. The interior space was vast, and if one was brave enough, it would serve as a decent temporary residence. Boss, you're here. A brawny man with a missing leg, leaning on a crutch, greeted them. Isn't this the guy who tried to rob Linma last time? His wine barrel ghost had been defeated by Chainsaw Ghost, leaving him as a regular person without a contracted ghost. Noticing Linma's gaze on his leg, the brawny man laughed, admitting his defeat and acceptance of losing a leg. You're a real man, bro. Linma gave him a thumbs up in approval. Do you still remember me, old classmate? A familiar voice echoed. Out from a tent crawled a one-armed man. Wu Kun, I haven't seen you since the assessment ended. I didn't expect you to be here, Linma exclaimed. After leaving the ghost domain, I was disheartened and chose to jump off a bridge. Luckily, the boss here saved me and encouraged me to keep going. So, I joined the Black Evil Gang, Wu Kun explained. Upon hearing this, Linma turned to look at and ran beside him. For someone with a hellish childhood to still maintain a kind heart was truly commendable. How is it? My base is pretty awesome, right? Those jerks from the Safety Bureau would never guess I'm here, and Ran boasted with evident pride. She pointed to a dragon head statue. Look over there. It channels the groundwater up. The lemon water I made for you was sourced from here. It's pure natural spring water, so it's incredibly refreshing. Linma approached the statue and indeed saw a dragon head with water continuously dripping from it. However, the tomb's entrance was tightly sealed, as if it had never been opened before. The antechamber of this ancient tomb is great, but if we open this tomb door, wouldn't the space inside be even bigger? Linma asked curiously. I've tried everything to open it, and Ran sighed. The door simply doesn't budge. Isn't there another robber's tunnel leading directly inside? Linma widened his eyes and scrutinized the tomb door closely. To his astonishment, even his blood-pupiled vision couldn't penetrate the peculiar door. There are a few other tunnels, but all the digging stopped midway. Everyone involved in the digging died, and their bodies are still inside the tunnels. There must be something powerful behind this door. Curiosity piqued. Linma immediately summoned Chainsaw Ghost to hack at the door. Sparks flew, but the door remained unscathed, not even a scratch. The invincible Chainsaw Ghost looked puzzled. Did I eat too little meat today? If brute force would work, we would have opened it by now. It might be a barrier or some kind of magic formation. A barrier, huh? Linma sighed and put away Chainsaw Ghost, but he felt an inexplicable force drawing him towards the door. Without thinking, he reached out and gently placed placed his hand on the dragon's head. Suddenly, the tomb door began to rumble, and dust and dirt rained down from the ceiling. The massive door, weighing thousands of pounds, started to open on its own. What's happening? Is it an earthquake? No, look at Lin Ma. The door, it's opening. A dense, chilling aura surged forth as Lin Ma and Ran peered inside. Countless everlasting lamps illuminated the entire hall, revealing an army of terracotta soldiers arranged in formations. Behind the terracotta army, a long staircase led upwards, culminating in a massive stone sarcophagus. This is spectacular, and Ran and the others swallowed hard, clearly in awe. But why? We tried everything and couldn't open it. Lin Ma just touched it and it worked, and Ran whispered, "Who knows? Maybe he has some mysterious connection with this ancient tomb." Someone murmured. The driver by the side composed himself. Having lived for so long, he had never witnessed such a spectacle before. Why could I open it? The moment the tomb door had opened, he felt an inexplicable connection to the entire mausoleum, as if every object within was strangely familiar to him. What could this mean? Filled with questions, Lin Ma cautiously moved towards the tomb's interior, with Ran and the others following behind, driven by their own curiosity. As Lin Ma approached the terracotta army, the previously inert statues began to stir. In a unified gesture, they all knelt on one knee, seemingly paying respects to Lin Ma. What's happening? Lin Ma thought. These terracotta soldiers are supposed to be guardians of the tomb. They should attack me for intruding, but why are they kneeling before me? What is the connection between this ancient tomb and me? As Lin Ma walked through the formation, the terracotta soldiers parted to create a path for him. This young man's lineage is not simple, the blood-pupiled ghost whispered. By this point, Ran and the others sensed the aura of mystery emanating from Lin Ma. Anyone capable of commanding the respect of these terracotta warriors had to possess an exceptional identity. However, when the others behind Lin Ma tried to follow through the formation, the warriors instantly pointed their spears and swords at them, causing them to retreat in fear. But when it was Ran's turn, the soldiers merely blocked her path without showing signs of aggression. "Lin Ma, be careful," Ran shouted across the terracotta formation, her face filled with concern. Lin Ma, however, remained silent and continued ascending the stone staircase. With each step, vivid images flooded Lin Ma's mind. On the first step, he envisioned a general leading an army into battle. On the second step, that same general slaughtered tens of thousands of enemies, with the dead piling up into mountains and rivers of blood. On the third step, the general, now a fierce and terrifying figure wielding a sword, was known to the world as Sword Ghost. By the fourth step, the general, now old with white hair, leaned on his sword as if it was a cane, gazing protectively at the palace he had guarded his entire life. This sarcophagus must be that of the Sword Ghost, Lin Ma mused, as he slowly reached the top of the staircase. Suddenly, an aged voice echoed from within the sarcophagus. "Who is it? The ruler of the Seal Demon Kingdom?" Lin Ma stepped back in shock. This tomb is at least 300 or 400 years old. How can the person inside still speak? "Do not be afraid. It's merely a lingering soul of the tomb's owner," whispered the blood-pupiled ghost. Gathering his wits, Lin Ma replied, "I am not the ruler you speak of. My name is Lin Ma. I have no idea why I was able to open the tomb, but I know that the Seal Demon Kingdom you mention has long fallen, so it has truly perished." The voice from the sarcophagus was filled with melancholy. Lin Ma nodded. He knew that the Seal Demon Kingdom was an ancient small monarchy nestled in the southwestern mountains, covering just 10,000 square kilometers with a population of merely 200,000. 50 years ago, it was invaded by the Zhou nation, its palace razed to the ground, and its existence officially came to an end. Why was the nation I devoted my life to defending destroyed by the Zhou nation? "Return my kingdom, my people." The voice was filled with sorrow and indignation. With a loud bang, the massive lid of the sarcophagus was thrust open, releasing a powerful ghostly aura that pierced the sky. The previously clear sky was instantly enveloped in dark clouds, with black lightning streaking through, slithering like serpents. Almost at the same time, in the security department of Jiang province, Gao Longshan shuddered. Such a potent ghostly aura. It must be the Sword Ghost of the Seal Demon Kingdom. He looked up at the turbulent sky, his eyes glowing red. Detecting the disturbance, Sun Deli rushed to the office. "I guess the tomb of Sword Ghost has been opened. We've been searching for this tomb for so many years, and it's been right under our noses. Find the location of the Sword Ghost's tomb immediately," ordered Gao Longshan, "and eliminate any remnants of the Seal Demon Kingdom you encounter." "Understood," Sun Deli replied, promptly heading out. At that moment, in a remote mountain village, Lin Lan, who had been asleep, excitedly walked out of her room. "It's my Amour. In this world, aside from him, no one else could open the tomb of the Sword Ghost, not even you or I. But does this mean Amour is in danger now?" Anchuan expressed with a worried look. "I can't hide in this village forever. It's time to go out and protect Amour," Lin Lan said, grabbing a sickle. "The mere thought of seeing those people from the Safety Bureau again excites me beyond control. You stay home and take care of our daughter. I'm going now." Having said this, Lin Lan dashed out. Inside the ancient tomb, ghostly aura swirled tumultuously. Except for Lin Ma, everyone was knocked down by the violent energy. "Damn, what level of ghost is this?" the driver exclaimed, staring at the sarcophagus, feeling an inexplicable fear. And Ran, standing nearby, bit her lip and looked worriedly at Lin Ma, who stood next to the sarcophagus. She prayed for his safety. Why did you destroy my kingdom? How dare this tiny Zhou nation? The lingering soul next to the sarcophagus vented its resentment. Hurry and try to contract with him. He's very, very powerful. The blood-pupiled ghost urgently reminded Lin Ma. With so much ghostly aura, if I try to contract, won't I explode from the inside? Lin Ma worriedly responded. That's just accumulated ghostly aura. The actual soul is just a fraction. Don't be afraid. See the sword inside the sarcophagus? The soul is on that sword. If you want to contract with him, you can try dripping blood on the sword. If it accepts you as its master, it will follow you. If not, there's nothing you can do, the blood-pupiled ghost explained. If I could contract this powerful sword ghost, my power would surely skyrocket, thought Lin Ma, and without hesitation, he bit his finger and dripped blood on the ancient sword. The moment the blood touched the sword, the previously erupting ghostly aura surprisingly rushed back and swiftly entered Lin Ma's body. His eyes rolled back, his body stiffened, and he fell straight onto the sarcophagus. Lin Ma and Ran's face turned pale. What happened to him? She frantically asked the others. The driver and the strong man both shook their heads in confusion. I have to save him, and Ran declared, summoning her nightmare ghost. Controlling the nightmare ghost, she flew straight towards Lin Ma, putting her own safety aside. Even knowing the dangers of the terracotta army formation, she was determined to risk it all, and Ran's forced breakthrough immediately alarmed the terracotta warriors, who raised their spears to block her path. After narrowly dodging their attacks, Ran frantically channeled her spiritual power to increase the nightmare ghost's speed. With her constant spiritual energy support, the nightmare ghost swiftly dodged the thrusts of thousands of spears, finally arriving beside the sarcophagus in a heart-stopping manner. Lin Ma, what happened to you? Don't scare me. And Ran urgently checked on Lin Ma, who had fallen into the stone coffin. At this moment, Lin Ma's body was discolored, cold as an age-old block of ice, his wide eyes staring blankly, unable to speak. This won't do. If this continues, he'll be gone. And Ran hurriedly tried to pull Lin Ma out of the stone coffin, but Lin Ma felt like an ice lolly that had been stored in a freezer for 100 years, too rigid to move. Despite using all her strength, Ran couldn't pull him out. What should I do? She almost burst into tears. As an 18-year-old girl, she had never encountered such a situation before and was completely panicked. At this moment, the driver exclaimed, this isn't good. After all, with such commotion in the ancient tomb, it would surely attract the attention of the safety bureau. He and Wu Kun quickly rushed out to check the situation. Outside the tomb, they found more than 10 vehicles parked in the graveyard, and a large group of safety bureau elites were heading towards the tomb chamber. Boss, hurry back. The safety bureau is about to enter. The limping strongman shouted urgently to Ran. At this point, Ran was completely exhausted. Gritting her teeth, she used the last bit of her spiritual power to have the nightmare ghost lift Lin Ma, preparing to forcefully break through the terracotta warriors again. But the scene she anticipated didn't occur. This time, the terracotta warriors didn't attack her or the nightmare ghost. Instead, they parted, creating a pathway for her. Boss, the main entrance is blocked by the safety bureau. Let's retreat through the secret passage. Ran nodded, and the group quickly escaped from the tomb chamber through a hidden path. Search carefully. The remnants of a seal demon are nearby. If you find them, don't let them go. Kill without mercy. By this time, Ran had already brought Lin Ma outside the ancient tomb. Facing Lin Ma, who still resembled an age-old ice lolly, the driver speculated, could it be that a ghost inside the sarcophagus sucked out Lin Ma's soul? I'm not sure. We can only take him to see a doctor immediately. Ran replied, anxious and distressed. Not good. The safety bureau is coming this way. The limping strongman quickly sounded the alarm. We have to split up and run under these circumstances. Perhaps that's our only chance to break free. Run? Everywhere around us is a desolate grave. Even if we flee, we'll eventually be caught by the safety bureau. They've come with such a massive force. Their target surely isn't just us. Maybe if we hand over Lin Ma, we might have a chance. No way. Lin Ma is my friend. I could never leave him behind. Let's head to Ares Academy now. Perhaps we can escape this disaster. After all, Lin Ma is their student. They shouldn't ignore this. But we're already surrounded. How can we break through, especially with Lin Ma in this frozen state? My life was saved by the boss. Plus, Lin Ma once saved me as well. It's time for me to repay that debt. Wu Kun whispered, looking at Ran and Lin Ma. I'll distract the safety bureau's patrol cars. Boss, you take Lin Ma and run. Wu Kun's decision left the driver and the strongman stunned. Then, exchanging glances, they stood up with a smile to divert attention. How can you manage alone? We'll go too. Tears swirled in Ran's eyes as she looked at the three men, realizing they were risking their lives to create an escape path for her. Take care, boss. We'll be okay. They reassured her with a gentle smile. Then, they charged straight at the safety bureau personnel. Brats, I'm right here. Come chase me. The driver taunted as he ran north. Wu Kun also successfully drew the attention of a few men, deliberately slowing down as he fled south. Catch them. Don't let anyone escape. The higher-ups have given strict orders. Anyone affiliated with the seal demon is to be executed on the spot. The three men went in three different directions, each facing a seemingly inevitable fate. Thank you, Ran whispered, tears streaming down her face. Would they ever meet again? Yet there was no time to dwell on this. The opportunity to escape escape was fleeting. She quickly picked up Linma with the help of Nightmare Ghost and mounted it, gazing in the direction where the three men had fled, and Ran's heart intensely. The strong man and the driver had been with her for many years, closer to her than even family. Tears flowed freely once again. I must get to Ares Academy quickly, or their sacrifice would have been in vain, she thought, urging her spiritual power to speed towards the academy. You think you can escape just because you have Nightmare Ghost? Sun Deli, sitting in an SUV, looked through the window disdainfully at the fleeing Nightmare Ghost. These diversion tactics. Let me show you what I can do. With a gentle touch to his left arm, he summoned the White Soul Ghost. Following Sun Deli's attack order, the ghost split into three, and like three sharp swords, they lunged at the Nightmare Ghost. With a fierce roar, one of the White Soul Ghosts, with its gaping maw, tried to bite down on them. Not good, and Ran realized, trying to maneuver the Nightmare Ghost to evade them, but one of the White Soul Ghosts bit into the back of the Nightmare Ghost. In pain, it inadvertently released Lean Ma. However, just below, another White Soul Ghost was waiting, mouth wide open. Their target is Lean Ma. Nightmare Ghost, protect him. On her command, Nightmare Ghost, ignoring its pain, tightly held onto both Lean Ma and Ran. The White Soul Ghost below, seeing its prey escape, bit down in frustration, tearing open Ran's back. You little girl, daring to defy the Safety Bureau? If not for the fact you are the illegitimate daughter of Director Gao, that bite would have targeted your head. But you're protecting this man with your life. He must be crucial. This could be my chance for a promotion and a raise, Sun Deli mused, launching another attack with the White Soul Ghost. And Ran's once pristine back was now a mess of blood and flesh. Losing blood rapidly, her consciousness was fading. Mustering her remaining strength, she issued a command to Nightmare Ghost. Ignore your injuries, just get us to Ares Academy as fast as you can. Receiving the order, Nightmare Ghost disengaged from the White Soul Ghosts, suddenly accelerating, breaking through the encirclement, and headed straight towards Ares Academy. Think you can escape? Sun Deli sneered. Do you think you're being naive? After all, I am the Deputy Director of the Safety Bureau. The White Soul Ghost at my disposal is not ordinary. He then activated his spiritual power, controlling the White Soul Ghost to catch up with the speeding Nightmare Ghost. In a flurry of frenzied bites, the Nightmare Ghost was torn apart, chunks of its ethereal form scattering in the air. The dormitory building of Ares Academy came into view, and Rand managed a weak smile. Finally, we made it. Subsequently, the Nightmare Ghost plummeted down into the academy grounds. With a thud, the ghost and the two people crashed to the ground. Just as the three White Soul Ghosts prepared to launch another attack, a massive hammer suddenly appeared before them. The familiar figure of the Headless Ghost stood with its giant hammer, guarding Lean Ma and the others. At this critical moment, the beautiful goddess of Ares Academy had made her timely appearance. Who dares to openly unleash ghosts to wreak havoc within the academy? Are they tired of living? Mu Wanqing, looking at the fallen Lean Ma and Ran, was filled with fury. Help us, we're being hunted. And Ran, mustering her last bit of strength, whispered to Mu Wanqing before falling unconscious. Mu Wanqing noticed that Lean Ma had already lost consciousness, his body bruised all over. Although Ran was covered in wounds, her hands tightly clung to Lean Ma. Who is after you? Who have you provoked? As Mu Wanqing pondered this, more than 10 SUVs with sirens blaring sped into the academy grounds. Sun Deli and over 20 members of the Safety Bureau disembarked, heading straight for the fallen Lean Ma. Who are you? How dare you act violently within our academy? Mu Wanqing boldly stepped in front of Ran and Lean Ma, showing no fear. Open your eyes and see clearly. We're from the Safety Bureau. If you hinder our arrest, you'll be treated as an accomplice. They are students of our academy, not criminals. Mu Wanqing shot back defiantly. At this moment, Mu Wanqing boldly took a step forward. Under her control, the Headless Ghost raised its massive hammer, ready to strike at any moment. How dare you attack the personnel of the Safety Bureau? You're a reckless young girl. It seems you don't know the meaning of death. One after the other, members of the Safety Bureau summoned their contracted ghosts. The area was instantly filled with a ghostly aura as various ghosts appeared before Mu Wanqing. With a collective howl, the horde of ghosts, like a pack of ravenous wolves, lunged at her. This is disgusting. How could the mighty Safety Bureau resort to bullying with numbers? Mu Wanqing realized she had no time to retreat. If the swarm of ghosts reached her, she would be torn apart, leaving nothing behind. At this critical moment, a thin figure suddenly appeared in front of Mu Wanqing. A strong spiritual energy began to gather in his left hand. With a swift motion, he sent all the attacking ghosts and their masters flying backward. Principal Jai, Mu Wanqing exclaimed, a mix of shock and joy on her face. It was the first time she had seen the mysterious principal take action, and he was remarkably powerful. Quickly, take them to the infirmary. Leave this to me, Jai Feng said calmly, his voice filled with confidence. Understood, Mu Wanqing responded, controlling the Headless Ghost to carry Ran while she carried the limp Lean Ma, making her way towards the school's infirmary. By now, the loud sirens had awakened most of the students. The dormitory corridors were lined with curious heads poking out. Oh my god, look, the goddess of Ares Academy, Mu Wanqing, is carrying a man in the middle of the night. Were they doing something intimate? One student whispered. Another retorted, use your brain. Do you think a couple doing intimate things would attract so many Safety Bureau agents? agents, and even the deputy director, Sun Deli, is here. This is no simple matter. A third student wondered, what's our principal doing? Does he intend to take them all on by himself? With his strength as a level 6 ghost master, he might just be able to match deputy director Sun Deli in an arm wrestle. At this moment, Achio from dormitory 433 was standing by the window, observing the scene below. His hawk-like eyes were fixed on Linma, who was being carried by Mu Wanqing. Such powerful sword chi. After a long moment of contemplation, Achio finally spoke these words. Seeing Zhai Feng effortlessly repel the crowd with a single move, Sun Deli's face turned livid. Who the hell are you? Attacking members of the safety bureau, he spat. And what is this safety bureau? Daring to lay a hand on my students, Zhai Feng retorted defiantly. You're just a principal from a third-rate university. Who gave you the audacity to obstruct the safety bureau's mission? Sun Deli taunted. This is my territory. Once you enter this school, even if you are a dragon, you must bow to me, Zhai Feng said, not intimidated by the sea of people in front of him. You've got to be joking. You're just a level 6 ghost master. Do you really think you can stop us? A visibly amused Sun Deli gestured, and the 20-plus agents behind him took a step forward, each summoning their contracted ghosts. Within moments, dozens of menacing spirits stood before Zhai Feng, a massive, intimidating crowd. Undeterred, Zhai Feng calmly rolled up his sleeves and gently unraveled the bandages wrapped around his arms. The 8 shining patterns on both arms light up simultaneously. Suddenly, from a massive surge of ghostly aura, 8 top-tier ghosts emerged. Each one was as tall as a 3-story building, and their combined aura was overwhelmingly powerful. Who are you? Sun Deli asked, his face a mask of shock, cold sweat dripping from his brow. Holy shit, the principal summoned 8 ghosts by himself. That's freaking amazing. Each one is at least of the wicked spirit level. Is that one holding the brush a ghost judge? That's one of the top-tier ghosts in Legends, as rare as an extraterrestrial being. The entire dormitory building was in an uproar. Nobody had expected the seemingly money-grubbing skinny old man to be such a formidable powerhouse. The agents from the safety bureau were equally taken aback. They had never encountered someone of this level since their birth. No way, you aren't Zhai Feng. You're the 8 Ghost King, Duan Chenkuan, Sun Deli exclaimed, fear evident in his trembling voice. That's right, I am Duan Chenkuan. Knowing my identity now, do you still wish to proceed? He challenged. Why would the military leader guarding the Southwest be in this third-rate university, and even as its principal? Sun Deli wondered aloud, yet he understood the importance of Lin Ma. After a brief hesitation, he gritted his teeth and took a step forward. Commander Duan, this is still the Jiang province. You have no authority to obstruct the safety bureau's arrest. If you persist, don't blame us for any offense. I don't care who you're arresting, but as the principal, I'll protect my students. If you want to take someone from my grounds, anyone who isn't afraid of death is welcome to try, Duan Chenkuan threatened. You think just because you're a high-ranking official, I wouldn't dare move against you. Everyone, attack. Capture the sealed demon remnants, Sun Deli commanded darkly. As his command echoed, all the agents directed their contracted ghosts to charge towards the school. Watching the tidal wave of ghosts approach, the students in the dormitory held their breath. The saying goes, 2 hands can't fight against 4. Can the principal withstand this assault? As the crowd grew anxious, the floating ghost judge suddenly swung its brush. A potent ghostly aura descended from the heavens. The moment it touched the ground, it transformed into numerous ghost scripts. These scripts quickly spread across the ground, attaching themselves to the incoming contracted ghosts like curses. The ghost's charge halted abruptly. The once rampant spirits now writhed in agony, as if enduring immense pain. Ghost Maid, take care of these immobilized weaklings for me, Zhai Feng whispered. Ghost Maid effortlessly swung her scythe, unleashing a fierce gust of wind that seemed as overwhelming as a mountain bearing down. The immobilized contracted ghosts were sitting ducks. The weaker, more vulnerable ghosts were instantly slain, and the safety bureau agents at the back who couldn't evade in time suffered numerous severe injuries. For a moment, the campus echoed with the duet of screams from both humans and ghosts. The students in the dormitory building were dumbfounded. The principal had deployed only 2 ghosts and effortlessly defeated the safety bureau's team. If all 8 ghosts were to be summoned, they'd surely be unstoppable, capable of vanquishing both gods and Buddhas. Some students lamented, I put on airs with the principal during the admissions period, and I once didn't give him toilet paper when he needed it in the restroom. Reminded of their past behavior, they shivered with apprehension. The agents of the safety bureau were shivering too, astonished by Zhai Feng's power. Is this even humanly possible? One whispered. Sun Deli, distorted with rage, had a significant gash on his left arm from the gust. Looking at his severely injured agents, he begrudgingly ordered a retreat. Watching the safety bureau's messy retreat, Zhai Feng couldn't help but mock, a bunch of wasteful trash, squandering the nation's resources. He then turned and headed towards the medical room. The entire dormitory building erupted in cheers. The students who had watched the battle commended the principal's prowess, noting that choosing Ares Academy was the right decision. Elsewhere, the unsuccessful safety bureau agents hurriedly made their way back. With an uneasy heart, Sun Deli dialed the director's number. How did the mission go? Gao Longshan's voice inquired upon answering. The boy related to the sword ghost tune was rescued, Sun Deli said through gritted teeth. It seems some people dare to cross my path in Jiang province. The person is now the principal of Aries Academy, Duan Chenkuan, a military leader coming to Jiang province to become a principal of a third-rate university. Interesting, Gao Longshan mused. You should be grateful to come back alive. After all, extermination is his signature move. He single-handedly wiped out an entire city when the Zhou nation besieged the Seal Demon Kingdom. So Duan Chenkuan wouldn't protect the remnants of the Seal Demon. He probably established the school to gather more students, making it easier to investigate the Seal Demon remnants. Could he have given up his military leadership position just to infiltrate Jiang province for this? That's some deep planning. There are two possibilities for him obstructing your capture. First, he wants to take credit for your work. Second, he aims to bait an even bigger fish with this. Let's not forget, the national advisor of the Seal Demon Kingdom hasn't been found yet. So, we just watch as our credit is stolen? Of course not. Interrogate the ones you've captured. As for Aries Academy, we'll send student agents to infiltrate and gather information. Can my two children be the student agents? If they succeed, it'd pave their way into the safety bureau, Sun Deli eagerly suggested. Certainly. For extra safety, I'll send Gao Shishir along. After finalizing the arrangements, Gao Longshan ended the call. The national advisor of Seal Demon Kingdom. This time, I will capture you with my own hands. Meanwhile, at a train station, Lin Lan, who was buying a ticket, sneezed and muttered, "Who the hell is cursing me behind my back?" Back at the school's medical room, a senior from the medical department controlled a ghost nurse to treat and rinse wounds. However, they felt helpless about Lin Ma's condition and temporarily placed him on an operating table. Mu Wanqing, seeing Lin Ma's heart monitor moving towards a flat line, was anxiously pacing around. Upon seeing the principal, she latched onto hope. "Principal, it seems Lin Ma is in grave danger. Please save him." "It's okay. The boy has too much negative energy accumulated in his body, causing damage to his heart meridian. Just need to release the energy, and he'll be fine after a few days of rest." Zhai Feng took a silver needle and swiftly pierced it into Lin Ma's brow. As a stream of black blood flowed out, the negative energy from Lin Ma's body dispersed quickly through the needle. Gradually, the dark hue on his skin faded, and the heart monitor showed activity again. Mu Wanqing, who had been intensely watching Lin Ma, heaved a sigh of relief. Then she turned to Zhai Feng. "What exactly happened? Why did the safety bureau want to capture him?" "You shouldn't ask questions that you're better off not knowing. The more you know, the closer you are to danger," Zhai Feng remarked coldly. Mu Wanqing sensibly closed her mouth and proceeded to tidy up Lin Ma's quilt. However, Zhai Feng's gaze was fixed on a new pattern that appeared on Lin Ma's left arm. It depicted a sharp and ancient sword. Could it be the sword ghost? This boy looks so much like him, and the age matches too. It seems he truly is a remnant of the Seal Demon, Zhai Feng thought, his expression turning slightly unsettled. In the next instant, his eyes became icily sharp, and with a lightning-fast move, he clasped Lin Ma's throat with one hand. "Principal, what are you doing?" Mu Wanqing, taken aback by Zhai Feng's sudden aggression, shouted in panic. Her thunderous voice snapped Zhai Feng back to reality, and he quickly withdrew his hand. "It's okay. I just wanted to check if there was any residual negative energy around his neck," he explained. His eyes locked on Lin Ma, shifting between agitation and regret. Finally, he let out a long sigh and returned to his usual demeanor.